Hello, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. So I am Galit. I'm head of environment and sustainability practice at Shibolet law firm. As a lawyer or a consultant in the climate crisis realm, we often tend to operate on the challenges, assessing risks, solving crises, mitigating, adapting to future catastrophes. But there is another side to climate change equation, and it's the side of opportunity, and this is what we are going to talk about today. According to a recent survey, climate tech investment in the first 6 months of 2024 reached a total of 11.3 billion US dollars. So it's a decline of 20% from 2023, but still it shows popularity and resilience given the fact that the overall VC market has fallen of 27%. So today we are going to talk about the other side of the equations. We have here the VC investors. I know that there are many startups here in the convention, and we would like to have the three of you that will present the opportunity side. I will present you shortly. Sarai Kemp, an Agrifood investor with over 20 years of experience in agricultural and consumer goods and high-tech industries. Sarai's expertise lies in identifying groundbreaking startups and supporting their growth. As an investor, active board member, mentor, and hands-on operator, she is currently nurturing a new and exciting agtech investment venture, and we will hear all about it. Joshua Gold, an investor at TMV, an early-stage venture capital fund with 200 million US dollars assets under managed, based in New York with a strong focus on maritime, ports, and intermodal logistics supply chain. TMV's other investment areas include the care economy and the future of work. Joshua is based in London and was previously a shipbroker, negotiating contracts between oil companies and ship owners from the transportation of crude oil. And we have Dan Weintraub, CEO of Ratio Technologies, which is Ratio Energy's venture capital arm. He serves as a board member in several public and private companies and was also the co-chairman of the board of directors of Capital Nature. Ratio Technologies invests in early-stage startups in various domains, but focuses on healthcare and climate tech, specifically renewable energy, sustainable mobility, decarbonization, and food techs. Okay, so let's start with you. Each of you in 2 sentences. Will you please tell us about the work and scope and preferences in the blue economy investment world?
Hi everyone. So firstly, thank you Galit, and thank you Hila, Aris, and Omri for having me here. It's an absolute pleasure and honor to be speaking today in Israel. So TMV, we invest globally. I'm based in London. The rest of the team is based in New York, and we invest pre-seed, seed, and Series A in industries ripe for change. Half of the firm is split on, invests on the care economy and the future work. The other half, which I work and 100% focus my time, is maritime, ports, and intermodal logistics, with a very strong focus on software. Why is our focus so specific? So one of the 2 general partners is Marina Hadjipateras. The surname, I think, gives it away. A Greek surname, comes from a Greek shipping family, listed on the New York Stock Exchange in 2014, Dorian LPG. Myself, as Galit said, I come from a commercial shipping background, so we feel we have the commercial maritime knowledge in a very opaque industry to understand the pain points of ship owners and ports. Because it's not a transparent sector, and the VC community is mostly dominated by CVCs with their own strategic interests. So that's our focus, and it's a very exciting focus. It's a very small market, and it's global. We naturally have a strong focus on the US, but now that I'm in London, I can pull the power away from the not so good side of the Atlantic and make investments this side of the world. And we made our first investment in Israel this summer, which I led. They're actually in this room, and we're thrilled. We're truly, truly thrilled. So I'll hand over.
Thank you, Galit, and thanks for having me. So I've been investing in ag and food for the last 12 years, and part of ag and food is also aquaculture. I've been investing in a few Israeli aquaculture companies and also one Singaporean-based aquaculture. And with my new investment venture, I will be also looking at aquaculture, but also climate-related technologies, ocean-related technologies. It's not an easy field to invest. First of all, there's not a lot of startups, and there's not a lot of money. But it's still a very intriguing, I would say, trend, and I think it will continue to grow.
Okay. So first, I'd like to thank Hila and the Center for Blue Economy and the Haifa municipality. I think these events are always important, but all the more so during these challenging times. So thank you, and it's an honor to be here. So Ratio is it's a global energy group based in Israel, but focused on projects around the world. And as such, of course, we'd like to make money for our investors, but we also like to create an impact, which is why, aside from the main energy projects, we also invest in renewable energies in Israel and abroad. We have an activity called Prospera with the LR group, which focuses on decarbonization, carbon credits, renewable decarbonization projects. And also we have a private VC fund, as you mentioned, which is called Ratio Technologies, which I have been CEO of for the past 5 years or so. We've invested in many different domains, companies. Being a private VC, we can do whatever we like, basically. But our sweet spot for the past 4, 5, 6 years or so has been climate tech, renewable energies, impact investments, and the past year and a half or so, we were approached by 3 amazing entrepreneurs, they're in the audience here, who suggested us and to us that we set up a marine tech and aquaculture focused venture capital funds. And because Ratio has received a lot from the sea, this is something we'd like to say. We'd like to give back something to the sea, so we thought that this is both a great economic opportunity and a chance to create a positive impact.
Thank you. So we will continue with you, Dan, because as you said, you are the most experienced here in the blue economy investment. Can you tell us what characterizes the blue economy investments as compared to other kind of investment?
I'll make it brief because I can go on about this forever, but blue economy is focused on technologies that have to do with the sea, with the ocean. So it's first and foremost helping create some sort of a reasonable ecosystem whereby we will not destroy the sea, but at the same time be able to, I don't want to say exploit, but utilize it to the benefit of mankind, excuse the high words. Of course, decarbonization is something that's very important, and we've been active in decarbonization investments in many, many different companies, but a specific focus has been put on this as far as investments in marine tech and port tech investments that have to do with the sea. And of course, like I said, we're an energy group, so investments in renewable energies that have technologies that have to do with the sea is also something that very much characterizes such investments.
Okay, Joshua. Regarding companies in ports and shippings, first of all, what's the difference between them? And second, what are you looking for when you invest in them?
So first, we see shipping as commercial shipping. So the actual assets on the ocean and everything that surrounds that. And then the ports, operations within the ports, and let's differentiate. There's many startups that say they're a port startup and they're actually a shipping startup, aka technology that focuses on the berth and the key of the port. That's for the ships a lot of the time. We're actually talking about the customer is the port authority or the operating terminal. So that's the difference. What we're looking for, some people may not like this one on the shipping one. We're software centric, so I'm going to stress this is not for hardware, but we don't feel from an independent VC that a solution for commercial shipping, software solution, is venture backable if the customer is only commercial shipping. There's circa 60,000 deep sea ocean-going vessels currently. The new builds, it's a proportion, but let's talk about that. For a software SaaS subscription per month, it's not venture backable. So we have to look, does the technology apply to other sectors of the blue economy? Ferries, recreational boating, cruises, tugboats and pilot boats. Tugboats and pilot boats is such an unloved market. They're buzzing up and down through ports. Look at that sector. You've also got Coast Guard, Navy. So if the technology is commercial shipping and other sectors, TMV's eyes start to light up. And I prefer the technology can also apply to an adjacent sector of the logistical supply chain. I will use a perfect example. Sorry, I'm very passionate about this. We just led a pre-Series A in a UK company called Signal, with an O, not an A, and behavioral science technology for nudge technology for fuel consumption and carbon emission reduction. Commercial shipping, ferries, cruises, but also in aviation. And now they're having talks with railway companies. We love that. The TAM augments, expands. Again, our eyes light up. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, on the port side,
Yeah,
sorry.
okay, yeah.
Sorry. On the port side, we want to see, this is really big, that the technology can also apply to intermodal inland terminals, aka dry ports. Again, an unloved market, it's not transparent. You've got ports inland, huge market. And a lot of the pain points in the port is also the pain points in inland intermodal terminals, especially within the container sector. So again, you're augmenting that TAM, and a lot of the port authorities and the terminal operating groups have interest and operate the inland intermodal terminals. You go into the ports and the inland and the terminals, you can then expand to their terminals inland. Very attractive to us. Then I call it the 10-slice pizza. When I order a 10-slice pizza, I intend to eat every single slice. If you're building a startup within ports, why are you only looking at container terminals? Why are you only eating 3-4 slices of the pizza? Look at dry bulk terminals. Look at ro-ro terminals. Look at liquid bulk terminals. Liquid bulk's a bit more difficult, but don't just focus on container terminals. It's visible, it's transparent, it's the biggest go-to-market due to the amount of cargo handling, but also look at dry bulk terminals. Again, you're increasing your customer base, and it's very attractive for VCs. I can keep going, but I need to pass on.
I just wanted to ask, isn't it 8-slice pizza? No, I didn't know.
We
it
have
was
14-slice
Yeah,
pizza, never mind what they have in the US. I don't even want to know.
Okay. Size, super size. So, Sarai, what challenges are unique aquaculture enterprises, and what can you recommend to founders who are trying to attract investors in this field?
The main challenge in aquaculture is that it is considered to be a niche market. I know that it sounds funny because aquaculture as a market is huge. It's about $300 billion from, let's say, farm to fork, upstream to downstream. But the investment that goes into aquaculture represent, do you want to guess how much money went into aquaculture last year? Throw a number. A market of $300 billion. $800 million, representing 0.3% of the total market. So obviously there's a huge market, but there's not a lot of investments, and this is the main challenge for entrepreneurs. There's many reasons for that. I won't go into all of them. What I recommend entrepreneurs in this field, and this is based on my experience with the portfolio companies that I've invested and worked with, is try to work as early as possible with strategic partners. I know it can be a double-edged sword, and it is a tricky balance to manage. One of the solutions would be either to get investments or just commercial traction with those strategic partners. They will be probably your first investors because they are willing to take a chance in a market that they understand. Dov Moran talked about deep tech technologies. Most of the financial investors just don't understand the market landscape, and they just don't understand the technology also. But a strategic partner would take a chance if you have a solid technology that solves an immediate problem. So don't just work with one strategic partner. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Work with many as possible as you can. It is doable. I know it sounds challenging, but it is doable. I've seen several companies doing that. And then once you reach the venture funding and you have several collaborations or even some investments from strategic partners, for me as a financial investor, it would be much easier for me to invest once I see the industry backing you up. And a more clear path to market with some of those strategic partners.
Thank you. Dan, back to you. You represent the old school traditional industry. So can you tell us about the opportunities for startups to cooperate with industry leaders?
Sure. So obviously the most important part or mission of an investor is to provide promising startups with funds for them to develop their technologies, to commercialize it, to succeed. But sometimes, and if that's the case, it's excellent, and an investor can provide a much more added value to the startups. First and foremost, being a global energy group, we pride ourselves on our global network of both partners and potential investors whom we can introduce to our startups and maybe help them raise money in future round. We can also help them identify potential clients, potential strategic partners, etc. And also, which is no less important, of course we don't presume to run or manage the company on a day-to-day basis, but being represented on the board of directors of young startups, we can help them with our experience, with whatever mistakes maybe we've made in the past, maybe not repeat and maybe make some other mistakes, and generally help them in what is a very challenging and fascinating journey, but as an industry player, we can help them a lot besides, like I said, providing the necessary funds.
Okay, Sarai, back to you. Can you tell us the trends and opportunities you see for startups and founders relating to innovations in the ports and shipping, aquaculture?
So I'll speak about the fields that I'm keen on and looking for. No, even specifically in aquaculture. So one thing is also technologies that are related to ocean. It can be the use of the resources in ocean for new ingredients, possibly also carbon capture. I don't like companies that only do carbon capture. I like companies that can offer an additional product. I don't know how to determine it yet. I think it's an emerging market, but this is one field to watch out for. And when we look at aquaculture specifically, there's a whole of innovation going around feed. So we're talking about forage feed, obviously, that we want to replace. So it can be using new technologies like fermentation or single-cell protein to replace the existing aquaculture feed. And then when you look at a more sophisticated feed additives, then it's a well-established trend, so it's not really a trend, but solutions looking for feed that is in between the intersection of feed and health. It's very similar to human food. As we see with food tech today, we're looking at superfood to boost our immune system. So we're doing it the same with feed for animals and specifically aquaculture. We will be looking for feed additives that can serve both, increase the biomass, but also protect the immune system of the aquatic creature. And lastly, I would also look at what we call novel farming. So it's new ways of growing things. And again, I'm going to give an example from agriculture. We all know about the indoor farming, so farms that are growing in vertical, all the leafy greens that we eat. I know that it's a taboo word nowadays in agriculture because all of those companies collapses into themselves, but I'm still a believer in the field. And it also translated into aquaculture. So there's a company in Singapore called Ocean Verticals. They grow inland, not like wrasse. It's even one notch above wrasse, so there's zero discharge. They grow in high premium shrimps in the city, inside the building, right? There's no outlet for the water anywhere. And they're selling it direct to consumers, to hospitalities. I think that's also a growing market.
Nice. Shrimps, vertical shrimps. So, Joshua, since you are from London, where you eat 10-slice pizza. So why Israel? What do you see as Israel's advantages or competitive edge regarding the innovation ecosystem?
Really good question. So, aside from the obvious, Israeli founders are inherently resilient. That's a given. Let's push that out the door. From the maritime and ports perspective, I think it's the Navy. You have coming from a non-conscription country, every year you have a roster of Navy cadets and officers rolling out. They've serviced for many years. They have maritime engineering experience. They have maritime operations experience. They have maritime leadership experience. One of our founders in this room, he was a captain. And the minute I heard that, you know, the hairs on my arms rose up, and I thought, this is the kind of caliber of person coming from maritime. I know, if you know maritime, you know maritime. You love it, you breathe it. It's in your skin, and therefore you're going to have that passion to excel in this industry. I think you have a roster of talent every year coming out, and they already know the industry. We see many founders come into maritime and ports, they're not from the industry. That doesn't mean they're not going to be successful. They could be the next unicorn. But I think you have a head start, you have an advantage. You understand the very simple things of this industry, which the rest of the world just doesn't know. It's the industry that runs this world. You look at Israel. Israel is the sea. They saw the sea as its opportunity and its gateway to the rest of the world. Let's use the talent that's coming out every year. I know there's a body called Migdalor and Chovlim. I'm not sure too much further, but those are the kind of organizations where innovation is at the center. You're taking young, passionate Israelis who know what the sea is about, operations, everything, the asset, the leadership. You've got the perfect feeder, grassroots platform. Use it, and I'm going to push on that personally. I think it's special.
Do you have anything to add about the advantages of Israel? Very nice. So thank you very much, three of you. Thank you for listening.